Disney's second attempt at a standalone Star Wars story centers around a young Han Solo and how he wishes to prove himself as a smuggler while also trying to find a way to save the love of his life. There are many action scenes, many special effects, and many things that were mentioned about Han's past in the original trilogy that happen here. It's almost impossible to talk about the film without giving some behind-the-scenes information, so I'll make it brief. The original directors, Phil Lord and Christopher Miller, were apparently making a comedy where Han Solo acted more like Ace Ventura. Not making that up. A lot of things were improvised, and when the film was almost done, they were fired by Kathleen Kennedy, the head of Lucasfilm, and were replaced with Ron Howard, who reshot 70% of the film. So, was it the big train wreck many were expecting? Or did the Force intervene to save the film? The short answer is that while the film is not technically good, it's not bad either. It's a serviceable story that managed to invest me more than Rogue One and Last Jedi. First, let's go over the things I liked. I appreciated that the story was smaller, and that we don't center on things like the Jedi, the Rebellion, etc. There's a little bit with the Empire, but they play an extremely small part, so I was glad that the film focused on Han's smuggling storyline. I thought the action scenes and most of the effects were very well done, though there are some effects that kind of threw me off a bit, like this weird monkey-like character who has multiple arms, or this giant worm creature. But still, there are good effects in the movie. The interactions with Chewbacca and Han were perfect. You gradually see their friendship develop, and you get an understanding of why Chewie sticks with Han throughout the film. The feel/tone of the film is also really cool, where it feels very much like a Western. I mean, there's even a train robbery! It makes sense as one of the many things that inspired Lucas when making the original films were Westerns, and if you want to tackle that genre in a Star Wars film, this is the perfect place to put it. And finally, Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. This was probably the best casting decision made for the film. He's a smooth talker, a ladies' man, and made me believe that he is indeed a younger version of the character we all know and love. Now, here are my dislikes. While I thought that Glover perfectly captured who Lando was, never for a moment did I believe that Alden Ehrenreich was Han Solo. One could make the argument that, well, he's not Han Solo yet, but I think if you're going to put the character's name in the title, you want him to have more characteristics. He's cocky, sure, but there's never really any moments where he gets annoyed with people like he does in the original trilogy, or any other real characteristics that Han has. I don't blame Alden as he was put through a hell of a film production, but I still would have preferred Anthony and Gruber, who put out a great audition online and actually worked with Harrison Ford on a film, as the character. Just like Rogue One, excluding Lando, I never really gravitated toward the characters. The only ones who had some development, again, besides Lando, were the characters played by Woody Harrelson and Emilia Clarke, but even then, I never really cared about them. Same thing could be said about the villain. I'm aware they replaced the original actor with Paul Bettany during the reshoots, but he's not in much of the film and was pretty underwhelming. And I'll also say that this aspect of the film could either be really cool for some people, or confusing for others. There is a surprise cameo near the end, but my fear is that for the casual Star Wars fans, as in the ones who only see the films and not any of the Clone Wars or Rebels, will be very confused with this character's reappearance. I won't say who it is, but if you don't get why this character is around, I totally get it. Overall, Solo is a mixed bag. Like Rogue One, it tells a story that I never really cared to see. I never cared about how Han met Chewie and Lando, I never cared how he got the Falcon, and I never cared about the Kessel Run. But if you're a die-hard Star Wars fan who needs to see these things, you'll probably be happy. I never hated the film, but I only found it okay. Some actors are good and some are passable, and there are some cool action scenes. I'd recommend a matinee screening, but at the end of the day, maybe Disney should have put this film in carbonite and sent it away. Thanks, this is an O.M.M review. This is O.M.M, signing out.